Good evening, wrestling fans. Welcome to Evolution of Pro Wrestling. I am your host, Louis, the Encyclopedia of Pro Wrestling.
And I'm Jade, the heel kid of Pro Wrestling.
And this is Evolution of Pro Wrestling. Woo! How you guys doing? Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. Tonight is going to be an excellent show. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I ate a little chocolate. I'm sorry. We appreciate you being here tonight, and thank you everyone for joining us. It's going to be an excellent show. We got the Darkside of Evolution Part 2. We're going to cover that tonight. But before we get into that, Jaden, we got wrestling's top news. Apparently, a lot of things have been going on in professional wrestling. Bradley, what's going on, brother? Welcome, everyone. Welcome, James. Welcome. Hey, yo, David. Welcome. Tonight we talk wrestling news. There's been a lot of talk with Tony Khan. Tony Khan of AEW has been doing a lot of chatter on Twitter, attacking, going after, Mike, what's going on? Welcome, everybody. Welcome. For those of you tuning in, we are live. Tonight's topic is going to be the Dark Side of Evolution Part 2. We got 4 great topics we're going to talk about when it comes to that. But before we get into that, we're getting into professional wrestling news. As we mentioned, Tony Khan has really been on it with Twitter, going after people and like, what's going on with Tony Khan? Is he Russell, what's going on, brother? What's going on? Is he getting mad that he's losing now in this ratings?
I think he's definitely mad at the fact that he's losing. But remember, it's also wrestling, which means that can mean anything. Maybe he's trying to get the companies to do more.
Oh man!
Maybe he's trying to do something.
I knew somebody was going to mention that promo on Monday Night Raw. Drew McIntyre and CM Punk promo on Monday night. Holy shit! That was as real can get. Like, they didn't pull no punches with that promo. Punches. Like, they went straight in. Like, Drew McIntyre dug in. He said, yo, we got a poll in the back to see how long you're going to stay here. He said, damn, it's been a whole month and you still haven't left yet. Wow. Like, throwing shots at him. And CM Punk was like, I'm going to be the better person and walk away, because if not, I'm going to knock your goddamn teeth out. Oh. I'm like, holy shit. Like, this is crazy. He said, I want to know what's wrong with Tony Khan. Explain. No, tell us, man. Tell us. There's my lovely wife and producer, Yesenia. Thank you for joining us, honey. Your stepmom. Dave says, NWA salvage something with CW, but it's only the app. New content on February 6th. Okay, at least it's the app. He's a mama. He is. It's good. I don't understand. Like you're trying to be you're trying to be a Vince McMahon or an Eric Bischoff. You're not. Like chill, my man. We know you got the money, but
be your own man, bro.
Like just like try to get some talent going. Try to get some more people coming in. You know what I mean?
Be your own.
But Jaden, you. Well, Tony Khan is the owner of AEW. Mm-hmm. Do you see a good future coming for AEW now that CM Punk is back in the WWE? He said, look, Tony Khan has too many powdered donuts.
I don't know. I don't think there's going to be any new pickups or, I don't feel like nothing's really going to change, to be honest, because although CM Punk was like a really crucial problem in the company still has a problem with multiple things. They still have a problem with their character development. They still have a problem with quite a few things. So I feel like it could get better over time as time goes on, but for right now, I don't think nothing's gonna change. I just think it's gonna stay the same AEW it was. But if they don't want to get kicked off of the face of the earth, then they gotta make a change soon. Cause Jesus, man, WWE is skyrocketing fast, especially since they got CM Punk back. CM Punk alone is already making money in the company, and whether people like him or not, whether people hate him, whether people like him, whether people want to beat him up, this, that, and the third, he's bringing money. He's bringing that cheese, He's bringing money to the company. So,
but that's what I'm saying. He says, I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make money.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Dave says Tony needs to chill, but he did hire a new COO.
Yeah, exactly.
Brian says he can remain the owner, but let someone else do the booking. Exactly. Right. But that's their downfall. Like, okay, for instance, what was your guys' thought that Sting Tony Schiavone asked Sting, what is going to be your retirement match? The Young Bucks came out right away. So apparently it seems like the Young Bucks are going to be his last match in AEW.
Do you think that's a good call?
Possibly. What do you guys think? Dave says AEW's character development is better than most will admit. Timeless Tony Storm. Okay, I see what you're saying. Let me see. Tony Storm swerve act. All right, I get you. But where are these new storylines going to go?
Right.
Like what's going to happen next? And also, word has it that Triple H is trying to make allies in New Japan Pro Wrestling. That would be a huge thing for New Japan and WWE to work. And what do you think about TNA? Now that TNA is bought up by the Endeavors.
TNA, it's not bad right now. TNA is one of them. It's not really like a super duper big company, but it's also an uprising company right now. So TNA is doing all right for itself right now. TNA is doing okay, and I can better than most. I can agree with that. Okay, in a standard, yes, I can agree with that. Or let me reword it. It's not the character development. It's the way the storylines are written is what I got the problem with in AEW. Did you see the new title? Did you see the new titles for TNA?
Yeah, they fire. They definitely fire. Now here's another question that many people didn't mention. Dolph Ziggler made his debut in New Japan. And I see a great run for this man in New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Me too.
And it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good. And Matt Riddle is in New Japan Pro Wrestling now, debuting.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot going on around professional wrestling right now.
New Japan is doing this thing right now, man. They just picked up Dolph Ziggler and they just picked up Matt Riddle. So
yeah. Okay, here's what Dave says. He says, Sting probably needs a tag team match to have a great final show. The Young Bucks will protect him. That's true. That is true. Bradley says, I don't think so. It should be Darby versus Sting. Would be interesting for him to pass into That's the thing, though, Bradley. Sting can do certain things, but also that he's limited because, he's up there in age. He can't have a singles match anymore. A singles match takes a lot out of a person, and Sting is already up there. So for him to do all that's going to be pretty tough. Exactly. Sting is not healthy enough for a singles match anymore. He's old. He's at that age. That's why he's retiring. He's like, fuck this shit. Oop, sorry, did I say that word? I'm sorry. And I don't give a rat's ass because we are MA, mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Jesus.
He said, I like how they didn't just run to AEW and saw other options in other organizations. Book of Boss is coming out. Thank you, fans, for joining us. Please feel free to share our content all over social media. Bring your friends, your cousins, everybody.
Brings me back to that day.
We have wrestling's top news along with the topic of the night. Darkside of Evolution Part 2 with some great names we're going to have that we're going to discuss about. 4 stars that we're going to talk about.
Hey, Dad, would you care to tell would you like to tell the fans how you got the nickname?
Yeah. We're gonna scratch that, I got that name for a reason. I kind of pulled a Booker one time, and I was like into it. So I got a little carried away, and I pulled the Booker, So
if you know, you know.
If you know exactly, if you know the promo Booker did a long time ago,
if you know.
All right. So that's all I'm gonna say.
Oh,
we keep it at that. Anyway. Oh man. So, Jaden, apparently Top Dollar expresses interest in making AEW television debut. He wants to come to AEW. He said, 1, 2, Hogan's coming for you. That's it. That's all I'm going to say. You're not going to get me into this. You're not going to say. He said, I meant Flair with Sting was his first major match, so he could be his final opponent. I don't know. We don't want Flair to die. We don't want Flair to die in the ring either. That would be...
We don't want Flair to die in the ring.
That would be a pretty...
oh, God. He a little too old, too old.
Yeah, yeah.
He could barely walk correctly. I don't think we need that. You know, to just stick to retirement. Man.
Yes. Okay, we're just reading this now. Apparently, Jim Ross unveils the exact date for his contract expiration in AEW. Apparently, there's been some negotiations with Jim Ross and AEW to put his contract out there. It's set to expire February 14th, and he says like he can't come to do ring announcing until the 14th. So is he going to sign again? You know, is he finally going to retire? You know, I think he should retire.
Do you think he'll sign back with WWE?
I don't think so. I don't think WWE would need him unless it's a correspondent.
Oh my God.
You know, it's hey, Brian, you're not gonna make me say it. He put it in the chat. Joe versus Hook AEW title. That should be interesting. Speaking of Hook, what's this happening with Jinder Mahal and Hook on Twitter? That Jinder Mahal did a Twitter and he just deleted it. Like, what was going on? What is your fans' take on that? Like, tell me.
JR returns for Mania 1 off.
It could be. Listen, that wouldn't be bad for a retirement match. For a retirement match, that wouldn't be a bad idea. You know what I mean? Like, who's set to retire this year? Who's set to finally retire? Maybe John Cena. Maybe John Cena.
How old is JR?
Oh, he's pretty old. I don't know how old, but he's pretty old.
He's quite up there with the age.
Yeah, no, he's definitely up there in age. That's for sure.
Climbing the ladder with the age.
He's definitely up there in age. But
for sure.
But no, a lot.
The Jinder Mahal
The Jinder Mahal situation, like what's going on?
That's a very good question.
And then there's secret things going on with Chris Jericho, and also with secret tweets. Like so much shit is coming out. Here's another story that I'm reading about that Matt Riddle recalls Brock Lesnar grabbing him by the neck backstage at the Royal Rumble. What the hell was that about? Like, let me read into that because it seems like Matt Riddle has had a lot of run-ins with stars, you know, Seth Rollins, Goldberg, and now Brock Lesnar. Like, what the fuck? Like,
sounds like
he didn't win too many friends over, apparently, backstage. And then apparently that brings us to why, because there was something else about him that Vince McMahon apparently pulled the plug on him to win the Money in the Bank. And I'm like, okay. Dave says Jinder tried one-up Tony by putting Hook on blast. He said, but JR should join Tony to call Sting's final match, then retire. It's not a bad idea. James says Priest cashes in during the match and pins Mahal, sets up Rollins and Priest at the Rumble. Wow. I didn't think about that. I didn't think about that.
Cashes in during Money and pins Mahal, sets up
Wow.
Priest.
Interesting. Interesting. Brian says because Riddle probably runs his mouth too much. That's true. That's definitely true.
He's definitely bad.
He's definitely
he's a wrestler, but he's bad for.
No, but I didn't. That's a good theory, James. I didn't think about that at all. But it would be nice though, you know, to have him win for a minute and then Priest does cash in and then he loses it at Rumble. At least give Priest that little taste of you know, championship gold.
Isn't Rumble soon? No.
Rumble's in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Rumble is in 2 weeks and Rumble's next week.
Yep. So
that's going to be interesting to see. But you know what else is going to be interesting, Jay? The topic of the night. The topic of the night is we're going to cover some interesting stars that are talked about to this day, but they have a past.
Yep.
They have a past. Who will win Rumble? Cody again or someone new? I believe it's Punk. It's going to be Punk.
I really hope.
And guys, don't forget, the day of the Royal Rumble, Evolution of Pro Wrestling, and our two guests that we're going to have, Brian and Russell, we are going to do a pre-show prediction show that night before Royal Rumble starts. It's going to be exciting. So yes, we have the Darkside of Evolution. We have 4 amazing old school stars, many that had their time, many that people say were bad for the business. That's what we're here to talk about. Yes. So
make sure I'm correct.
The 4 people that we're going to talk about today have had a very unique career in professional wrestling. Okay. Sorry, guys. I got a heating pad on.
Just have to make sure.
got a heating pad under to my back,
You know,
but it's not gonna stop me. Shut up. I'm not old. For those of you, many of you know this manager. He was the manager of the Great Muta, for sure. Manager of the Abdullah the Butcher. He was a manager for many, many, many stars in world-class championship wrestling. He is known as Gary Hart.
Yes.
Excellent manager, excellent star, professional wrestling career. His early career was at 1960 to 1979. Then from 1979 to 1988, he managed, and he went in Georgia, Mid-Atlantic, Jimmy Crockett Promotions, World Championship Wrestling. What's going on? What's going on? In the chat, I know. Gary Hart.
That was my message.
And the next star that we're gonna mention is she started in the NWA Wrestling Alliance, NWA National Wrestling Alliance. She later came to the World Wrestling Federation in 1983 to 1987. She was the champion for over 24 years in the WWE.
That's a long time.
And she revolutionized and started the business of women's wrestling. The Fabulous Moolah, the always controversial Fabulous Moolah.
Yep.
Then you have the crazy, lunatic, rebel that started his professional career at the age of 17, I believe, 15, something like that.
15.
Was in World Wrestling Federation in 1979 to 1987. Came back. He did a lot of shit. Went to WCW in 1996 to 2000. Then came back to the WWE in 2003. He's been in Total Nonstop Action, TNA. He's been all over the place. He was inducted in the Hall of Fame back in 2001, I believe. He came back in 2015. Won the World Tag Team Championship with Ric Flair. The always controversial, the always crazy Rowdy Roddy Piper. And the final selection is a wrestling family that went to stardom very fast, but unfortunately fell down very, very hard due to some tragic incidents in their life. Mm-hmm. Probably one of the greatest wrestling families of all time, the Von Erichs. We're going to be discussing each and every one of these stars in this show tonight. Mm-hmm. Jaden,
Dad.
With in your perspective, hearing all of these people, what are your thoughts? What comes to mind when you hear about these stars?
Well, see, this is like really like taking me out of like an element because these people are way earlier than my time.
Of course.
But like I said, I've definitely heard these names before, and I've seen a lot of these. I've seen all four of these things that you just mentioned, and they're all legends. Like you said, the Fabulous Moolah, she held it for 20 years. She revolutionized it for the women. She kind of helped pave the way for the women right now to tell the
Fabulous Moolah.
I said her already. I just lost my train of thought.
Uh-oh.
Talking too fast.
All of them pioneered the business in different ways. Absolutely.
They did, exactly.
Absolutely.
And the Von Erichs,
but many of them had a really dark past.
Yeah, exactly.
They had a dark side. There was a dark side to their story, and many of you have seen, the dark side of the ring. You've seen the Fabulous Moolah.
The biggest word I would use for all of them is controversial, because that's just the perfect word for every single.
Very controversial, because everything. There was always something controversial happening with this issue here. The Von Erichs. Yeah, Bradley says the Von Erichs were maybe the hardest tragedy in wrestling. Almost every member committed suicide.
Yeah,
and it's sad. Yes, it's actually sad. You know what I mean? And again, fans, viewer discretion is advised. This is MA. We are talking controversial. We're talking personal, inside and outside the ring. Now, there's one thing about the Von Erichs. They had a hell of a feud with the Freebirds. In WCCW, that shit was amazing. In World Class Championship Wrestling.
They did.
You had stars like them, you had stars like Gary Hart. Gary Hart managed in WCCW. He managed great stars. Abdullah the Butcher, for one. A fucking lunatic that carried a fork to knock people in their head.
Broke a fork. literally rung a fork to like people in the head.
Do you think that would be allowed today?
Absolutely not.
Like really, like Kerry Von Erich versus Ric Flair for the title.
Not.
That was a tribute for
Kerry versus Ric Flair
for David when
he forked them up.
He forked them up. Kevin and Kerry and Ric Flair fought for when David passed away because David was supposed to be the next star. Supposed to be the next.
Definitely.
What are you doing on your phone? We're having a show.
I was checking my phone.
Don't check your phone on a show, son.
I'm gonna check my phone.
We give attention to the fans.
Do you know who I am?
Who are you?
I am the heel kid. The heel kid does what he wants to me. Check my phone.
Let's go, sir. Back to business at hand.
Yeah, maybe you should check that heating pad to make sure your back isn't, a little. You know.
Asshole. He said, well, in AEW, maybe with Moxley. He said, Brian said, nah, no way. Too many people would get butthurt if something like that happens now. Of course.
You can't even bring a plastic knife into the ring without people, oh, he has a knife. He did it.
Well,
you can't even do that.
Well, don't get me wrong. They show blood in AEW.
I mean, but that's
guess
AEW. AEW is not really, made for... At least not to me. It's
Dave says Abby would only survive in CZW today. Gary Hart could still work today. Brian says, "Oh, Jay gonna get an ass whipping after the show. You better believe it, carajo."
Yeah, if he can run, sure. Oh,
jerk. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. Okay, Roddy Piper. The man has done it all. To me, he made careers, but many people say he was hard to do business with. Is that true? Do you think that's true?
Well,
what do you guys think?
I really of course, none of us know because we weren't there backstage. But from whatever a lot of people said, based
that
on,
he wouldn't take a pin. I've never seen that man take a pin.
I'm about to say from the matches
in any type of organization.
From the matches I've seen Roddy Piper fight in, I've never.
Hey, Clive, what's going on, brother? Welcome.
I've never actually seen him take a real pin.
Oh my god, I need to shave. Sorry. Go.
Okay. Anyway. I've never seen
the
him
great
take a real
Kabuki.
pin.
Gary Hart managed him too. Absolutely, another great star in New Japan. Like he said, Dave said, "Easy balls, heel kick gonna kick your back." Hey, us old timers gotta get it. Excuse me, I'm a little parched. Excuse me. Go ahead, continue.
He needs to drink his water. Oh, dang, man, I lost my train of thought again.
Keep playing. He calls me old. We good, man. Thank you for joining us. For those coming in and joining us at this moment, tonight's topic is going to be Darkside of Evolution Part 2.
I remember.
Our stars we're going to be discussing today. We're talking about Gary Hart, the Fabulous Moolah, the Von Erich family, and Roddy Piper. You may get a shave after the show. That's right. I might. Just might.
Oh yeah, but I've never seen Roddy Piper get pinned.
Yeah. See.
Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Go ahead. Read the comment.
No. I want to because this was an important comment.
Okay, go ahead. Read it.
Bradley mentioned. Remember, WrestleMania 6 versus Bad News Brown. Roddy Piper painted himself half black. He was half white. You know for a fact that shit would not pass today.
That's pretty racist.
No. No, but that's what I'm saying. That was accepted back then. It was controversial. Okay. It was part of the wrestling gimmick. But do that shit now. You can't do that. That's racist. I don't understand why the hell he doing that.
I'm not gonna
you know that's not gonna fly.
That's pretty funny.
It's funny. It's funny, but it's not gonna fly today.
It won't.
Because people don't understand that you can't separate personal with wrestling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Wrestling's wrestling. Personal is personal. But sometimes wrestlers weren't able to separate that either.
Nope.
You know what I mean? And at a point, Roddy Piper didn't because he was like
he really took Roddy.
And
Piper.
Exactly. He couldn't get it off for a while. For like 3 weeks, he couldn't get it off.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Not even in the shower?
Not even in the shower.
What did he put on himself? Paint?
He put some shit up in there. I don't know what the hell he did, but he put something.
Oh goodness!
But it was a way that it caught the attention of everybody, and that's what he wanted. That's what Roddy Piper was about. Say Piper was old school. He was kayfabe.
He was kayfabe.
Say why didn't he like working with Mr. T? Piper would destroy the WWE today for Logan Paul and Bad Bunny? Exactly, because he's an old school guy. He's not with the damn celebrities and shit, and like he wasn't fond about Mr. T, but Mr. T brought in money.
He did.
It helped WrestleMania get to where it is today. Yes, the coconut in the heads of Jimmy Snuka and Piper's Pit, epic, fucking epic. Like that man was nuts.
He was crazy.
You know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. That when you talk about him, you talk about old school stars, and that's where you bring in these guys like Gary Hart, Fabulous Moolah, and Devon Eriks. Devon Eriks, when they had that feud with the Fabulous Freebirds, to me, that was so damn good because it looked so personal. The way it happened. You know, they were all great stars. They fought many stars. They fought in Japan. They fought with Bruiser Brody. They fought with Abdullah the Butcher. They fought with many great stars. Many believed that Kerry was going to be a big star, you know. But when he came to the WWE, it seemed like his career just, you know what I mean? Because they didn't like the gimmick. They didn't like the Iron Claw. They didn't like a Devon Eric name. I don't understand why.
Yeah.
Because Devon Eric name is something to be proud of. You know what I mean?
It is.
But they pretty much they tarnished that name in the WWE. Six man tag team titles made because of that. Exactly. Because it started to progress more. He said he wrestled with a fake foot. He did.
Oh,
because they had to amputate.
I'm about to say, didn't one of them get an accident?
They got into Kerry Von Erich. Von Erich got into an accident. They had to amputate his foot, and he still wrestled in the ring. But I was watching. It was crazy that we're discussing the Von Erich family. I was watching their documentary today in the Dark Side of the Ring, the Von Erichs, and it's still bone chilling the way these guys pass. Like and what the hell?
Only one of
them. Go B, what's going on, brother?
The fact that only one of them survived, man, is
it was crazy, and there was 5 of them.
Holy moly!
There was 5 of them, and it was crazy that none of them are here anymore. We got Yeah, Ronda Rousey was a big star in UFC, but not in wrestling, not anymore. Brian Davis says David was going to be world champion. David was going to be world champion, and all of a sudden, he had a heel run in Florida. Yes, he did have a heel run in Florida, and it was good. And unfortunately, David went to Japan. He was getting ready to fight. You know, they were big stars in Japan, the Von Erichs. And then apparently something happened that he went to, you know, because wrestlers at that time, they drank, you know, smoked, did a whole bunch of shit.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
And for some reason, his intestines ruptured.
Ooh.
Because apparently, I think they say he might have thrown up all the food he had, everything, because he had 2 steaks and all that drinking. So that shit's tough. 2 steaks, all that red meat. That's a lot.
That's a lot to digest. For real.
So apparently, they think that he threw up and then went back down to eat some more. And then that's when his intestines just ruptured. And he bled internally and all that stuff. It was something, I forgot what they called it. But that was a sad way to die. You know, you were alone, you were in Japan, and then you get the gentleman promoter behind that was working with the Von Erichs, I forgot who he was. They got the call that he passed away. Jeremy Jefe, bienvenidos, caballero. All of you tuning in, thank you for joining us. We just finished talking wrestling tops news, and we're our topic of the night, Dark Side of Evolution Part 2, with our stars of the night, Gary Hart, Fabulous Moolah, Roddy Piper, and the Von Erich family.
The Von Erichs.
Yes, Kerry took his father's gun and shot himself at the ranch. Yeah, no, it was tough, man. It was tough. They were all great stars, but they had an unfortunate, tragic ending. But let's get out of the tragedy for a second. Let's talk about their career. What did they establish in their career, in your opinion, Jada? What you've heard and seen of their career, what most caught your attention? Same question goes for you guys.
Something that really caught my attention.
And Roddy Piper, for instance. You know, out of all these four, Roddy Piper is the most you know because we talk about it and you've seen his matches.
Yeah. Maybe, okay, well, for some of the things that I've seen on the Von Erichs, you know, I've heard, you know, they've had, you know, super amazing rivalries. Like you said, they were really popular in, you know, New Japan and stuff like that. That's where, you know, the Von Erichs were mostly popular. That's where everybody loved the Von Erichs. So
in Texas, though. Texas was their main source.
Oh, of course.
Texas, everybody loved them. Everybody loved them. When David had a funeral, there was over 5,000 people attending the funeral.
Jesus. Yeah, Texas was the Von Erich territory for sure.
Absolutely.
But, you know, really something that stands out career-wise is definitely the way, like, I feel like a lot of the Von Erichs was really one of the reasons why, like, rivalries are so good now, because the Von Erichs was so back then, they kind of, like, I really wouldn't say paved the way, but when you think of Von Erichs, you think of, like, dang, like...
Ray, it's funny you say that, bro. Mr. Perfect versus Brock. That actually happened on a plane. In the dark side of the ring, when they call it the plane ride of hell. Yep. Brock Lesnar and Mr. Perfect actually had a fist-to-fist fight on and 10,000 feet above the air on a plane.
Insane.
That's insane. And he said, "Wait, why Piper on the list?" Oh, Piper has a pretty deep past. You know, he had his substance abuse and smoking and drinking and back on the road, and. You know, he fought his demons. You know, he had a lot of issues going on in professional wrestling. A lot of people didn't want to do business with him because they felt that he didn't want to sell. But in reality, he was protecting the business. Because if you let somebody like Mr. T pin Roddy Piper, how is that going to make Piper look as a heel? That you're letting a movie star pin me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Rather Hulk Hogan do it or somebody else take the pin. He didn't want that. You know, and it was protecting the business, and not so many people saw it that way. Nope. Some people did, some people did it.
Right.
You know,
definitely.
But he said the Von Erichs were way before my time, but I heard that there was the shit fire. They made tag team wrestling good. Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
That's what I said. When you heard
my God.
when you heard tag team rivalries, you always think of the Von Erichs. That's for sure. Like the moment you hear like a good tag team or like a really amazing tag team.
A really faction, a family
exactly,
like them. Piper
like
versus Valentine dog collar match. Remember when we put that up on our line? Oh man, that shit was lethal.
That match was, oh Jesus.
That shit was lethal. Let me ask you a question.
That match was something.
Let me ask you guys a question. If God willing, Gary Hart, if he is still around, he said you read it so wrong. He said, wait a minute, hold up. He said the Von Erichs were way before my time, but I heard that was the shit. Fire.
That don't say fire.
Fire.
Stop. They made tag team wrestling good. Stop saying fire.
Ray says I got a question for you guys. You guys like Shamrock better in MMA or WWE?
Shamrock? He's talking about Ken Shamrock?
Yeah, Ken Shamrock.
I didn't even know Ken Shamrock was in UFC.
Yeah, he was in WWE.
I didn't even. Oh, okay.
Piper and Austin in the same ring mania was great. Absolutely. Dave says
MMA.
Oh man, that's not a bad idea. MMA, yeah, definitely. But he knew how to sell somewhat in professional wrestling.
I've never seen Ken Shamrock fight in wrestling.
So again, back to the topic at hand with the Von Erichs. And, you know, Fabulous Moolah, Roddy Piper, and Gary Hart.
Yep.
My question to you guys is, it's all right. You're half hour late, but it's all right. You're half hour late.
You're not as late as last time. That's good.
If Gary Hart was around, who, in your opinion, you think he'll be able to manage and lead to stardom in professional wrestling? Same question goes to you guys.
You said Gary Hart.
Gary Hart. Said, damn, Jaden, you are my brother. Laughing out loud. Hell, Ken Shamrock was in WWF. Lance Archer. Okay, that's not a bad pick. Okay, what about you, Jay?
Dang.
Any heel, it has to be a heel.
It has to be a heel?
Yeah.
Well, Gary Hart was way...
He managed the Great Muta.
Okay, so like... Describe how Gary Hart was, so I kind of have.
Gary Hart was very sadistic. He was a sadistic manager. He was sneaky. He knew what he had to do.
Maybe I feel like he could. Does it have to just be one person?
No.
What if he managed?
You know, I think Gary Hart would lead Ricochet to a WWE title. That's quite possible.
What about Judgment Day?
RKO, Randy, possibly.
Randy RKO.
I don't know about Judgment Day.
No,
I don't know about Judgment Day. Maybe Ricochet and Randy Orton.
Sadistic, so that's
maybe okay. Solo could be a. Oh wow, Solo could. That would definitely be a good one. With Solo Sequoia, hell yeah. By Gary Hart, that type of style. I think he was better in TNA. I think he was better in WCW. I think Gary Hart was better in WCW. Evil AJ. With AJ Styles. That would be interesting. I didn't think about that. Now, Jaden, do you think if Fabulous Moolah was still alive, maybe a little younger, would she manage any of our young female talent of today?
Oh, of course.
Name a few. Name a few.
She could manage.
You guys too. Name a few.
Well, based off of what I think she could manage. I think she could manage somebody like Asuka, maybe Asuka, maybe. I know this is controversial, probably, but maybe somebody like no.
No, say it.
Maybe Charlotte Flair.
Yes, Charlotte.
Oh, look at that! We was thinking the same thing.
I was waiting for you. Like, what the hell's taking you so long? Like, Charlotte should have been the first one. And you calling yourself the heel kid? You're kidding me? Come on. No, I'm telling you, Charlotte should be the first. Why? Because she's the queen. She's the same attitude she had, Moolah had.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I could put her with Bailey too. Put her with Bailey.
I would prefer Bailey.
You know what I mean? But who would you have the Von Erichs feud in a 6-man tag right now?
In a 6, like a 3-on-3?
Oh, with Jay Gargill, that shit would be good too, man. Seeing her manage that. But I'm saying, who would you think if the Von Erichs were in this era now? Who do you think would be a great 6-man tag against them? In your opinion, you guys too. Go on, tell us what you think.
A 6-man tag, like a 6-on-6.
Yep. The Bloodline. Holy shit.
I was going to say the Bloodline.
Wow.
Too. I was going to say the Bloodline or what was the name of that other faction?
Dream Match would have been
I forgot
the Brood.
Dream Match would have been the Brood.
Christian Gangrel and Edge against the Von Erichs.
I would say the Von Erichs versus the Ministry of Darkness.
Which 3?
It's weird.
Which 3? House of Black?
I don't see that one. I don't know. I just want to see.
All right, here's a question for you.
Sure, that's a tough one. I'm not gonna lie.
So FTR Creed Brothers versus the Von Erichs. Holy shit! Evolution and Triple H. Oh man, here they come. They're pouring out. Now. All right, so here's my one question for you now. My next question for you: if Roddy Piper would have been able to have one more match in this era and it was in his prime, who would it be against, in your opinion?
You said if Roddy Piper was to have one last match in his prime.
Yes.
I feel like I gotta sneeze. Oh God.
Bless you.
I didn't even sneeze yet. Piper versus Moxley. That's a good one.
That's a good one. That would be a very against Ric Flair. Okay, against Ric Flair.
I would probably go with the Randy Orton.
Why?
There's no reason.
There's two totally different styles.
And so is Moxley and Piper. They're not the same style.
To Roman, his schedule would make it personally to Piper.
Moxley and Piper do not have the same fighting styles. Moxley did backyard wrestling like a lunatic, and Piper was very, very technical. Piper and Orton have closer styles than Piper and Moxley do. So I want to see Moxley and Piper.
Mike says Jericho, Miz, or Kingston. Eddie Kingston. It's interesting picks, man. I would have to go with Flair, though. I would say Flair, both in their prime and to end their careers.
I could have sworn they
fought before.
Okay,
they fought before.
Didn't they fight before?
Yeah. Or MJF.
MJF is
one asshole to another asshole. That would be pretty interesting. Very interesting.
MJF is a good one.
Now, Jaden, I got a question for you.
Yes.
What do you think? Why do you think all of the Von Erichs were gone?
What do you mean?
Due to the circumstances. Why do you think everything happened the way it happened? in your opinion?
Well,
and in your opinion as well.
It was just a lot of, it was a lot of tragic stuff going on. Like, they was all fighting demons. Like, one was literally fighting with a fake leg, and the other one, he shot himself. The other one, his intestines. It was just, they was all going through something, man. They all had their own battles, and, they couldn't really figure it out altogether, so they tried to take a way that would be.
There was one that had.
I was watching their documentary yesterday. I forgot the other.
There was one that had that they pretty much, two of them had trouble with the law.
Yeah. Yep.
One of them knew he was Kerry Von Erich. He was into drugs. He was into a lot of steroids, and he already had screwed up. So they said, okay, it's probably time he might go to jail.
And he didn't want to.
He didn't want to, and it's like
do something else.
And it's like, okay,
David. Yeah, I'm about to say. I know one of them was heavy on the drugs.
Well, that's I don't know. That's speculation because they saying that David was on drugs. They saying he wasn't.
I mean, but
yeah, the drugs and expectations took Mike and Chris for sure.
In a way, though, look at it from
Mike killed himself over overdose.
I'm about to say, look at it from like the reason why they passed away. Like, that's what I'm saying. That says a lot about a person. Like you said, Mike passed away from an overdose.
Apparently there's a lot of talk that the father was on them a lot. There was a lot of pressure on them from the father to wrestle. Mm-hmm. So how true is that? Is that true enough? Like, is that even real? Like, I haven't seen the movie yet. I want to see the movie.
I'm gonna go watch their Darkside of the Ring after the show. But honestly, I don't. Man, there's really so many possibilities with those guys, but people just don't do things like that for no reason. You get what I mean? Like,
that's true.
It's not something you just do because you just,
Bradley says, remember back then, a lot of the stars were dealing with a lot of things, and it was no major help like now. Absolutely. Piper in his prime versus modern day CM Punk. I'm in between. That's tough.
That's a tough one.
Both of them assholes. Both of them would cut a super promo.
They have a movie? I didn't even.
Huh?
They have a movie? Did you guys?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. They just made a movie. It was produced by MJF.
It's like new.
It's new. It's called Iron Claw, and they said it was amazing. And I haven't seen it yet, but I want to see it. Yeah. I want to see the movie.
Too. I gotta watch it.
I heard it was very good, and I'm definitely going to see it because I'm intrigued. Like, something told me I wanted to see. So you watch the Darkside of the Ring on them. It was deep, man.
I'm gonna watch it after the show. If you guys got any Darkside of the Ring suggestions, let me know.
All of them.
Okay, slow down, Romeo. I can't watch that many now. I still gotta wake up for school tomorrow.
All right, Cupcake.
You're the one with the heating pad.
It's all right. This old back can still whip your ass. All right.
You're gonna swing and.
The Encyclopedia of Pro Wrestling is always ready. He said, "I'm all out of bubble gum. I'm here to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of bubble gum." That was in the movie They Live from Roddy Piper when he did a movie. But I definitely want to see the great. It's a great movie, so I definitely want to see that movie Iron Claw for sure. But before we go, I want you guys to tell us one of your most memorable moments of these 4 stars. And your worst moment that you've seen of these stars. Jaden, I'm going to start with you.
Why you gotta do this? No. You always start with me. It's your turn. I'm not starting.
A part of me wants to see it. A part of me is not sure. I'm going to see it. I'm definitely going to see it. I know it's going to be heartbreaking, but I'm definitely going to see it.
I'm not going to lie. I can't really say a favorite part of those 4 stars because I wasn't around to see these 4 stars.
I know.
Exactly. So you take the way for that one, Dad. I wasn't around for these 4 stars. All I can say about these guys, or let me not. There's not even 4 stars. Technically, there's like.
There was 3.
If you're including.
It was 3 to begin with, but unfortunately, when Dave passed away, they had to implement Mike into the mix.
I'm about to say, yeah. If you.
Piper's promos were the best for me. His death was the worst for me personally.
I'm not gonna lie.
Because I gotta agree. I gotta agree with that because Piper.
I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. I might say the same. No,
Piper he was nuts.
I don't think the worst.
He said what he said, what came to his mind, and he didn't give a rat's ass.
He didn't.
Said Jaden, watch it from season 1 and bench watch it, laughing out loud. There's no school for you on Monday, laughing out loud. There you go.
Right,
it's on Hulu. It's on Hulu.
But what do you call it? I think my worst, like, the tragic thing for me is the Von Erich's death, because like I said, I've read a little bit about them, and it's really tragic that the way they've all, or most of them went out. Mm-hmm. But being the fact that, like, I have a little mixy feelings about Roddy Piper in the ring. He knows how to cut a great promo. I can't even knock the man for that, because Roddy Piper is one of the best guys to touch a mic in this entire wrestling business. So that's my favorite moment. Probably, Piper Pitts, the Piper's Pit, and the worst moment was probably, hearing the way the Von Erichs,
Yeah, but Dave says 2 of my favorites were together. Gary Hart managing Terry Funk is my favorite, and the worst was when David the Von Erichs
his
own death. Yeah, he did. He did. He sure did. He was on a show. He was on a show. I forgot. I think it was on HBO or something like that. Mm-hmm. He said, "Me live past this day? No, I'm gonna die at such and such time." Just like that.
Wow.
And he was right. He was right. The Graham family was also definitely a tragic story. You know what I mean? Like, guys, we talk about these guys, but you guys can bring in anybody else you want about tragic stories and Darkside.
Did I say that?
Graham family. Yeah, this was before your time. Way before your time.
Now all these people are way before my time.
If we're mentioning about the Darkside,
all these people.
You guys heard of him. You've heard of him in a brief, but to me. If this man was still alive at the time, in maybe the 80s, maybe 90s, he would have made a fucking blockbuster effect in professional wrestling. Gino Hernandez.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of him.
Gino Hernandez was a damn natural in his way. Like, he was amazing in the ring. He had great battles, great feuds. And he was so damn young. And to this day, people are speculating this, they're speculating that. No one knows how he passed.
Nope.
But he,
doesn't he have a dark side of the ring too?
Yeah.
That's where I see his name from.
Gino Hernandez has that. You gotta see that one too.
I've seen his name.
Dark side of the ring. Gino Hernandez had passed away. Gino could have been exactly way better than Flair. Gino was a top guy, man. He was amazing. See, he was amazing. That dude was awesome. He knew how. He was able to be hated. The people hated that man. Like he knew what kayfabe was about. Said, "Wow, Gino, that's another Dark Side of the Ring episode." WCCW had a lot of controversy. It sure did. And that's the shit that. When you talk about these stars, Gino Hernandez had a dark side. He knew how to party. He knew what he had to do, but he knew how to work a crowd. He knew how to get under your damn skin. He knew what to do. Art Bar and Eddie Guerrero was a great tag team as well. Yep.
Art Bar and Eddie Guerrero. Cameraman on the apron started in WCCW.
Yeah, he was a cameraman, and then boom.
Oh, he was a cameraman.
Yep, and went right on. Wow. And he just took it by storm.
I guess it was just. So when did he pass away, or what age?
Oh, he was about 26, 27. He was a young guy. He was a young guy. But he had stardom. He had lots of stardom by that age. Gino and Tully were gold in Southwest. Tully Blanchard? Hell yeah.
Blanchard were gold.
That was awesome. That match was awesome. I wish Gino would have been around, man. I really wish Gino would have been around. In his 80s, he passed away. Yeah. Said Gino dressed with style. He looked like Flair in 1987, all dressed up like Gino.
Oh, my.
I'm telling you, this guy was amazing. He was amazing in the ring.
He could have been better than Flair.
He could have been better than Flair.
He could have been better than
Flair.
He
could have been better than Flair.
Wow.
Even Jake Roberts said it. Like Jake Roberts mentioned, I think he had a little feud with Jake Roberts. Mm-hmm. He knew what he needed to do. He knew how to draw a crowd. He knew how to draw money. He knew how to mess with everybody. He knew
he was just a prodigy. Then
he knew how to contact how to get in contact with the stars in the ring and make it look good. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And he had amazing feuds, but unfortunately, he had demons too. Just like everybody in professional wrestling has their way in the dark side of professional wrestling. You know what I mean? There's more. You guys can throw more out there, whichever one you want. But if we miss, like we put these, but you guys can mention whatever you guys want to mention, and you can just throw them out there. He would have been an awesome horseman. Absolutely, absolutely. He would have been an original horseman. Hot stuff. Eddie Gilbert as well he had a personal problem. He had a drug problem, but he had a point where he was very hated by the crowd. But there was a point that he was also very liked by the crowd. At one point, he even tag teamed with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat to go up against Ric Flair. I think it was Ric Flair or Barry Windham. I forgot who it was.
What was he so hated for then?
Because he also played a heel. He played a massive heel, but he was a very heavy drug user. And that's what his ultimate demise was. Jeremy says, would you guys consider Magnum TA a tragic story even though he's still alive? Yes, it was. Magnum TA. Because his career ended very shortly because of an accident. He got into a car accident, I believe, and his career was shortened. His career was Gilbert had his demons, exactly.
Gilbert had his demons, yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. With Magnum TA was a superb star. Mm-hmm. Superb star. The feud he had with Tully Blanchard, holy shit. Yes, he did help Sting and Rick Steiner get in the beginning. He said he hated Memphis, hit Jerry Lawler with a fireball. I remember that. I remember that. Oh man, that shit
like a real
he blew a fireball to his face.
Oh,
like
another episode of the Dark Side of the Ring.
Another episode of Dark Side of the Ring. Yeah. I'm telling you, man.
Jesus. Dude.
Yeah, it was crazy.
He really threw a fireball.
Let me see. Eddie Gilbert. I'm gonna look it up. See if you can see it.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely watch a lot of those episodes this weekend though.
Stop lying. You better.
I will.
You better.
I'm not.
All right, let's see. Here we go.
As soon as I finish watching anime.
All right, this is the fireball that I hate ads. I can't stand ads.
Man, people gotta make their money too. Dude.
Yes, I know. All right, here we are. We do not own rights. You saw that, right? You saw that? Oh. You saw that fireball, right? That's what it was.
Oh, I know that got a burn.
That's crazy right there. Oh. Like back then, that's how wrestling was. Like
I know his skin is on fire. Was that planned?
Yeah, that was planned. Oh. That was planned. That happened. But sometimes it get a little out of control.
Yeah.
It gets a little out there that they really do burn the other person. But the Dark Side of the Ring, like there's a lot of British Bulldog versus Big Papa Pump. That would be a battle. The British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith, who also had a dark past to him. Davey Boy Smith died at a young age as well due to, with the pain pills and getting hurt. He had an injury. You know what I mean? Great star. Great star. It was a shame he didn't win the world title. He won the Intercontinental title.
Yep.
But it was a shame. It was a shame that,
unfortunately, like a lot of the greats, he had demons too.
Yeah, he had a lot of demons, and it sucks that professional wrestling does that to you. You know what I mean? To some stars. You know what I mean? And back then, you know that's what you had because that's how you got up. It said Magnum was supposed to be champion, but a motorcycle destroyed his career. A motorcycle accident destroyed his damn career, and he was awesome in the ring. Like I couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand
really
it.
Sad
The way his career ended like that. I'm like, oh man. But yeah, man, these stars that are in the Hall of Fame now, Gary Hart, Fabulous Moolah, the Von Erich family, and Roddy Piper, all made their mark in professional wrestling. In my opinion, JYD also died this way too. Absolutely, JYD, another Dark Side. Did a lot of heavy drug use, but was a star in the ring.
He destroyed his Porsche
on a phone pole. Yeah.
Oh, phone pole.
Driving in the rain.
Oops. Driving in the rain.
Look, JYD was a star, epic star.
I heard.
Unfortunately, he never became a champion in WWE due to the fact that Hulk Hogan was the Golden Boy.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And he thought he can get away with shit like other people do. No, my brother. You couldn't. And unfortunately, at that time, and not to, I'm sorry if anybody gets offended, at that time, race did play a part in professional wrestling.
It did. I mean, that's not really.
You couldn't do what the white man did.
Not
You're
really
an African American, and they said it in the dark side of the episode. Like they even mentioned it. Like it was back in the days, you couldn't do that. You know what I mean? JYD was a star in the South until he came to the WWF, and Vince was racist.
JYD was a black man.
Okay. JYD was a black man.
Okay.
He was a black man. Okay. So I said I wasn't gonna mention this, but someone mentioned it. So we're going to talk about it. We apologize if you get offended. Chris Benoit. We're going to end that with this show. Chris Benoit. Chris Benoit was by far one of the greatest stars in the ring. Top 5 of all time, in my opinion.
Definitely top.
Definitely technical star. Put his body on the line. Great physique. That
man could do it.
Great moves. He went all over the world. He could work in a ring. He could work with whoever he's in the ring.
Yeah, but
unfortunately, again,
don't even get into depth.
His demons
he had
got
demons.
to him, and an unfortunate event happened.
Like we said,
with him involved.
If you know, you know.
If you know, CTE.
You know. It's literally on the dark side of the ring.
You can do a whole episode about him, but we're not going to.
Yeah.
But Benoit had issues with Kevin Sullivan over a woman, lost his mind with Royce, and losing Eddie.
I think Eddie was what really.
That's what did him in. That put the stepping stone on everything.
Yep.
Great wrestler, but he had a demon that took him down.
That demon
was super controversial at the time. Sputnik Moore, while tagged with Noble Austin, blacked the first record of successful inter-tag team. Absolutely. Because that was back in the days.
Yeah.
You know how it was back in the days.
I'm about to say it was a lot tougher back then.
It was a lot tougher back then.
Heyman said it best, amazing talent as a
human being. Fuck him.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. That's just the way you put it. You know what I mean? You don't do what you do and think you're going to get praised for somebody. I'm sorry. I don't know the whole story, but of what was told and what was found. No respect for you, my brother.
Yeah.
Sorry. As talent, as a star in the ring, absolutely. Absolutely. You could take out the best. But as a personal wise, no. I don't respect it. Mm-hmm. But as I said, I wasn't gonna mention this. See, I get frustrated because I have a son. And I have my kids. And these are my pride and joys here. These are my boys. As much as they are a pain in my ass. Oh, don't make me cry. But still, if you know, you know.
Yeah.
Let's leave it at that.
Yeah, just leave it at that.
Say, what's good, guys? Hey, Roddy, what's going on, brother? How you doing, champ? Roddy, this is my compi's son, Rodman. He's an excellent star in football. They just played a championship. You know, they went all in. Roddy is a tough star. Welcome, man. Thank you for the show. I know you're a little late, but good. Thank you for joining us, for showing us love, man. We appreciate you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Uncle Louie loves you, brother.
Appreciate
Bradley says, I'd rather leave it alone because if the situation especially having a baby girl.
Yeah, we understand. We
understand. So we're going to leave it at that. But you know, if you know, you know.
You know, exactly.
But wrestling fans, our time is up here. We're glad. Another amazing show as always. Thank you, fans, for joining us. Please feel free to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. And also, please feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel on Evolution of Pro Wrestling. Next week will be the final part of Evolution of Pro Wrestling presents The Dark Side of the Ring Part 3.
Yep.
And in this amazing show, we are going to have the 4 names, and you guys can mention any other ones in that show too. We are going to have Paul Heyman, China, Bruiser Brody, and the most infamous wrestling family of all, in my opinion, the McMahon family. We are going to be talking about all of these people come next week on Evolution of Pro Wrestling. And also, as we mentioned, that on the day of the Royal Rumble, myself, the Encyclopedia of Pro Wrestling, the Heel Kid, and our guests are going to be coming, Russell Jackson and the Wikipedia of Pro Wrestling, Brian. We're going to have a prediction show before the Royal Rumble. So, why Paul Heyman? I could understand the others because Paul Heyman.
I asked the same question, Jeremy.
Well, we can change it. We can change it. Who do you think?
We'll decide that some other day. Because I'm too tired to decide that right now.
You wuss.
All right, how about you decide that, Mr.
Can I come to watch? James says keep Heyman. Okay, so let's keep Heyman. I think a lot of people got a lot of shit to say about Heyman because there's a lot of stuff about Heyman, especially with his personal, like real life personal.
I wasn't asking to take him out. I was just asking why Heyman. Like I didn't know.
With his personal rivalry, like real hatred to each other, him and Jerry Lawler. Like they hated each other.
Okay, don't get too much into that.
Leave me alone.
Not too much into that. Save it for the other topic. All right.
Today, my dude. Look up the shit he did with ECW. Exactly, which is going to bring us to talking about ECW with his career. Mm-hmm. You see, I was just asking. Yeah, it's kind of complicated with Heyman. Heyman's a fucking.
He's Heyman.
But thank you, wrestling fans, for joining us. For myself, Louis, the Encyclopedia of Pro Wrestling.
And Jay, the Heel Kid of Pro Wrestling.
And for my lovely wife and producer, Yesenia. Thank you, wrestling fans, for joining us. We'll see you next week, 8 o'clock sharp. And thank you very much. See ya.